Hello, friends. My name is Lori. I am the daughter of Harriet, who is the daughter of Daisy, who is the daughter of Ether, who is the daughter of ancestors unknown. Okay, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about crochet. So crochet gets a bad rap. There's, some old white ladies that are like, knitting is better than crochet, which is bullshit. It's not any better or worse. So there is a difference, though, in the stitches. So crochet stitches are a little chunkier. They use a lot more yarn than knitted stitches. And the difference is knitted stitches are knit across, along a needle, back and forth, and it goes up like this. And crochet stitches are a chain that's built on top of a chain that's built on top of a chain. And that chain can go anywhere. It could go 360 degrees. You can go upside down. You can make all kinds of interesting 3D things with crochet chain. So lots of toys and the amigurumi jazz, uses crochet. So, but they're both, let's see here. I made this blanket. Some of them have knit stitches. This was knitted. I started here and worked circularly in a flat sort of way to make this. And with the crochet hook, I did each stitch individually as I went around, just changing the colors each round. So you can do the same thing with knit and crochet. It's fine. It's totally fine. Mostly I do, I make granny squares. That's like it. That's what I do with crochet. Or I do things like this. I made this little swatch with knit and purl. It's knit on the front and purl on the back, and then a few garter stitch border, and then this crochet border, just for shits and giggles, to see what the crochet looked like. This was, I believe, this was an old sweater that I got at Goodwill, and I ripped it out and then dyed it with Kool-Aid. This is my first kind of like attempt at dyeing my own yarn. So but these are great for adding an embellishment. It's a nice flat, I didn't even have to block this. It's a nice flat kind of thing. So I thought I'd show you. This is not getting in the way. I thought I'd show you how I do my granny squares. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is make a slip knot like we did by making a loop, bringing the working yarn through to make a little knot, and you're gonna put the knot on the crochet hook. Cinch that up a little bit, and you've got the tail yarn, you've got the working yarn. I hold the working yarn in my left hand. Some people hold it in their right hand. I don't know. I think it's more made for the left hand, but I don't know. You do you. So I do, kind of a weaving deal with my fingers and tension the working yarn with this index finger. Now to hold on to the loop, you got to do something. So I put my middle finger on the little knot that we made, and my thumb just to hold it and have control over it. And then I use my index finger on my left hand to wrap the yarn around the crochet hook and through that little loop. And oops, don't pull it off. That's your first stitch. Then you do that another, let's say 4 times. And so now you've got 4 chains that you're gonna work with. So then, to start your granny square, you're gonna take the crochet hook and go into that very first stitch that you made, and then wrap the yarn around underneath through that first stitch and then through the last stitch that you made, and there's this little hole, right? And so there's a way to get rid of this tail at the same time that you start doing your stitching. So the first thing you're going to do with a lot of crochet is to make some more chains, because crochet, when you're trying to do something in a row, you've got to do a row, make some crochet chains to make like a little wall, and then you do the next row and you do more crochet chains, that's a wall, and then you do the next row. So it's like this, right? So to do that, we're going to chain 2 stitches, and that counts as like your first stitch, right? It's your first part of the making a wall to go over and over. So then we're going to go through the little loop. So we're going to yarn over, go through the hole, and keep that tail back then so it kind of catches what's going on. Then go through again, and now you've got 3 stitches on your crochet hook. So you're going to wrap the yarn around and go under 2. Come on, go under 2. Then you've got 2 more stitches. Wrap the yarn around, go under 2 more. And now that's your second stitch. So this was the chains were your first stitch. This is your second stitch, or your first. It's like your first real stitch, but it needs, so your stitches need something to lean against. So that's why you make this like little bits of chain. So now let's make 1 more stitch, go into the loop, catch that yarn, under 2 stitches, under 2 stitches. Now you've got 3 stitches on your little loop, and you've got to make the little bend, you know, where it rounds the corner, right? So to do that, you're going to chain, well, you're going to chain 2 just in this first round. You're going to chain 2, and that'll make the little, and then it'll bend over, right? It'll make this, once we put the next stitch in, it'll bend over. Okay, so now let's find our little hole. We're gonna do 3 more stitches, whatever stitches you do. These are just, I don't know, this is supposed to be a half double crochet, but I kind of made it up. I don't think this is a real thing, but so that's 1, 2, and then 3. Oops. Come on. I blew it. Okay. There's 3 stitches. Now you're going to do the chain 2 again. And then 3 more stitches into that hole. And now you can sort of see like a little square is starting to take shape, right? Like that. Let's do, all right, do 2 more or 3 more stitches in this little loop jazz here. And 2 more chains. Three. Okay, so now when you get back to where we started, you're going to chain 2, and then see how there's like a little row of V's across the top? You're going to pick like the most top corner one, because there's 2 chain stitches, 1, 2, and at the top of that chain stitch is where the little V's start. So you're going to go through where the V's are, wrap around, come on, seriously, wrap around and pull it underneath those 2 V stitches and underneath where you did your last 2 chains, and that connects everything. And there you've got your little square, granny square, right? You've got 4 corners, right? So now you're back here where you started. So what you're going to do is go through the rest of these little V's across the top. So again, we're going to chain 2 to get this this row started. Wrap around, and some people go back into that V, that same V. I don't know, I guess you can. Let's do it, why not? And make your first stitch. Sometimes it gets a little too crowded if you put that first stitch in there, but I don't know, it'll be fine. So that was the first stitch. Then there's the next set of V's. Go into that set of V, catch the yarn, under two, wrap around, go into that set of V's, wrap around, under two. Now, you've got, so we did 3 stitches right down here. So now I have 4 stitches. So it's going to grow. That's how it grows, is you do, each time you do a round, you do more stitches than you did the last time. So now this time though, when we get to the corner that we made previously where the hole is, instead of just doing 2 chains, we're going to do a stitch into that hole. We can do 2 stitches in that hole, and then 2 chains, and then another 2 stitches on the other side of those 2 chains. Oops, and another stitch in that thing, and now it will really start to grow. So now you can see where that hole is. You see where this is the first hole, and that's the next hole. And so now I'm not going to go into the same stitch right here, because I've grown so many stitches here in the corner that I've got plenty of room to keep moving. It's like wisdom teeth. You don't want to compact everything. Right? So you just go into that next, instead of the stitch you just went into, just go into the next one under those V's. Then you're at the circle again. So again, you're going to do 2 stitches in that hole. Another stitch in that hole. And now you're going to do 2 chains. 1, 2, and then 2 more stitches into that hole. So now there's our second corner, right? Which stacks up, on top of the last corner. And then you just keep doing that around and around and around. And so it just, it just becomes another meditation of just going around and around and around through. Okay, so when you come to the last corner, you're chaining into the last corner. So you find that first chain that you did, those first set of 2 chains, and find the V. Get under the 2 legs. There. Under the 2 legs of the V. Wrap around. Pull it underneath. And it doesn't want to go. And underneath your last chain. And there you go. And now you can really see how square it's like. It's very square, right? Sort of blocky, but in the round, right? And so you just keep doing that. You're at the beginning. You just start with your 2 chains. And then just keep going around and around, and you go into the little corners. You do 2 chains or 2 stitches, 2 chains, 2 stitches into the corners. then just 1 stitch along the edge, and then when you get to the corner, 2 stitches into the corner, 2 chains, 2 stitches into the corner, and then just keep going around and around and around. And if you've got some really nice variegated yarn, the colors will just flow and change naturally. Or if you don't have variegated, you know, just each round is a different color, you know, to just let it keep growing and growing. Okay, so when you're finished with your little square, let's just pretend that you're done. You can either keep going or add other colors, or be done with this and then have a bunch of them and sew them together, or whatever. So when you're done with your thing, you cut it off. There's the tail from the beginning, and this is your working yarn. You just cut it, and you've got your loop just like in knitting. Some people will put the end through there and make a big knot. I don't like to do that. I'll just pull the loop, just pull, and huzzah, there it is. And then you thread your tapestry needle, and then just weave your ends through any old wear, you know, just like you did with knitting. And then it just disappears on the other side, and then you have this lovely little square and you're done. So that's it.